So we've been talking about midsegment of a trapezoid. The midsegment is a segment that connects the midpoints of the two legs of a trapezoid. You probably remember midsegment from when we talked about the midsegment of a triangle. So in any event, there's two really important things you need to know about a midsegment. A midsegment is parallel to both of the bases. And don't forget, what comes along with parallel would be you would have, for example, corresponding angles congruent. You would also have consecutive interior angles that were supplementary. So the parallel lines part is going to tell you something about the angles. We also learned something about the lengths. We know that the length of the midsegment, let's call that M, is equal to the average of the bases. So if we have base 1 and base 2, we could make a formula that says the midsegment is equal to base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. In other words, taking the average of the bases by adding them together and dividing by the number of numbers. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of examples using the midpoint formula that we just came up with. We know that this is a midsegment because we know that this is a midpoint and we know that this is a midpoint. So the midsegment formula says that the midsegment is equal to the average of the bases. And so what is the midsegment? Well, in this case we know the midsegment is 8, and we know that the bases are x and 12, and we know we have to divide their sum by 2. So what are we going to do here to solve this? One way to do it is to put this over 1 and cross multiply. 2 times 8 is 16, and 1 times x plus 12 is x plus 12. We'll subtract 12 from both sides and we'll get x equals 4. Some of you have figured out that if you move 4 this way, 12 is bigger by 4 than 8, then you move 4 the other direction, and you would get 4 when you drop down 4. So if you've noticed the pattern, that's good, but the problem is that the pattern is not going to help you with a problem like this. With a problem like this, you're really going to need to use the formula, because even though you know that 15 is 2.5 bigger, you have to set up an equation with 3x plus 1. So let's just use the formula for this problem. Again, we should have the midsegment is equal to the average of the bases, so that would be 3x plus 1 plus 15, the top base and the bottom base. We're going to divide that by 2. And again, we can go ahead and put this over 1 and cross multiply. 2 times 12.5 is 25, and that should equal 3x plus 16. We could subtract 16 from both sides, and 25 minus 16 is 9, so 3x equals 9 and x equals 3. So that's how you're going to go ahead and solve midsegment problems where you have algebraic values for the length of the sides.